So definition of externalities is we're looking at basically third party or spillover effects. Yeah, we've got that basic idea in the first place, third party spillover effects, and the key thing is that they come from the acts of production and consumption. Okay, so that's the AQA extra complexity that doesn't exist with the other boards, because the other boards just worry about them being negative or positive. So we've got this kind of four-dimensional model of externalities. You've got production and consumption externalities, you've got negative and positive externalities. We've got this idea of what makes for total welfare within society. We look at the idea of private plus external equals social, and social is total, isn't it? Yeah? So we've got those ideas, and we're putting it into a basic model where we're looking at production externalities and consumption externalities and negative externalities and positive externalities. When we talk about the act of production, we equate it with cost. We also equate it with the supply side. When we talk about the act of consumption, we equate it with the benefit derived in the consumption of the good, and we equate it with the demand curve. Because the demand curve is a value line, price is an expression of value, value is an expression of the benefit derived through consumption. Okay? So we've got these four dimensions to externalities within the AQA. We've got a negative externality of production, we've got a positive externality of production, we've got a negative externality of consumption, we've got a positive externality of consumption. Examples, I mean, I can generally use the word pollution. It would be reasonable to look at a pollution outcome and something like climate change and blame it on the act of production, although, of course, consumption and production both have create, say, emissions that affect the environment. So we could talk about perhaps smoke coming out of a factory chimney from the production of a car or something like that. When we talk about a negative externality of consumption, we're talking about basically the idea of demerit goods, but remember demerit goods have another aspect to them other than just the externality, and that's the misinterpretation of private benefit. Yeah, so but we'll focus on externalities now. So here we could talk about, I don't know, smoke coming out of smoker's mouth as basically, yeah. Okay. Smoking potatoes. Yeah. Positive externality of supply. Of production is one of those harder things to come up with examples of. I mean, there's always classic examples in textbooks where, I don't know, warm water that flows into the local water course from a factory leads to the fish growing bigger than they actually would. The idea that perhaps bees are used, a beekeeper and their bees that are used to produce honey go on to pollinate the orchards that are beside them for apple growers. Yeah, those are kind of textbooks examples, but there are also things that have been actually considered as well. There's a paper called the fallacy of the bees that basically said that there is already contractual agreements to actually internalise those externalities between beekeepers and orchards. The key one I'd like you to think about is in terms of a positive externality of production is maybe multipliers. It could be, say, building a new factory creates incomes for those involved in the construction of the facility that are spent in the local economy and create multiplier effects from that, or people that receive jobs from the project or the factory once it comes online, create regular incomes that again spent in the local community to create a multiplier effect on the economy. I think that's the best way to think about it. Positive externalities of consumption, again we can look at the category of merit goods rather than demerit goods, education and health being as our best examples. But again, remember, merit goods have two dimensions to them. There's the externality and there's the information.